What's up, guys? This is K-LO, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we are cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines. And who better to join me today? Honestly, this is the best person for the job. My sous chef, blah, blah, blah. I can't even speak today because of Borderlands. Get me crazy. But my sous chef, Aden, why don't you say what's up?
Ayo.
I'm that excited. Randy Pitchford got me, acting up. And when we talk about that, we don't compare.
Randy Pitchford never makes me act up. He makes me sad.
He's out there. But before we get into today's news, we'd like to say thank you to anybody and everybody who is liking and subscribing here to Game Sandwich. And if you're new here, consider joining in on the fun. Our Discord is linked down below. Now, Borderlands 4 got a recent state of play, which honestly was kind of random to me, but hey, we're here. And to kind of consolidate things we've missed about Borderlands, release date was moved up. It is now coming to us on September 12th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
And I wanna point out that Randy Pitchford specifically said that there's no other game releases that are influencing them pushing the date forward at all.
I'm winking.
Emphasis on that.
I'm winking. Trying to wink. Like
I don't trust it.
Yeah, that's a bunch of BS, right? Like, I think that's that's like whenever I used to mess up as a kid and I told my mom I didn't do it. I totally didn't do it. I totally didn't knock down the valuable glass vase over there, even though I was right there. Yeah, it's GTA 6, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, Gearbox has, they work with 2K.
Yeah.
2K's the same publisher as GTA. Obviously, they're going to work out the release dates. I mean,
someone knows something. That's the way I'm gonna leave that. But hey, shout out to Marathon. You got the release date all to yourself, so prayers to Marathon. But recently we got a 20-minute state of play that highlighted a bunch of gameplay and just 2 characters from Borderlands 4. Now, I want to start here by the overall claim, and this was something we've talked about before. How Borderlands 4 is looking to have a more grounded tone and harken back to the original games. From what we've seen, this 20 minutes, I'm going to hold you to this forever. Do you think Borderlands has the magic once more?
Judging by everything overall, I am very middle of the road on here. I am not, overly excited. I am not in utter dismay like I was before. I wasn't before I was seeing the Vault Hunters thinking, they're kind of cool. I don't know anything about them, so I can't really say. And I only saw a little bit of the world, but it looked interesting. And so I was more leaning towards the negative. But now I'm there is some positivity here. The backstory they gave about the Timekeeper and everything, subjugating the planet, yada, yada, yada. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It feels more grounded. What I don't like, though, is that Gearbox is giving us another little tease and blue balling us again on the whole Great Vault War.
Yeah.
But
you made a point. We were watching this in our Discord together, and I asked you the question, would you have it where Borderlands 4 is mechanically sound, yet the story sucks? I feel as if we're crossing that line as far as gameplay looks crisp, it looks pretty damn good, gunplay looks great, and they have a chance here, much like you were saying with the Vault War stuff, and the backstory to these characters, which is pivotal in a game like this. They have a chance here to kind of merit those two together and send it forward where, hey, Borderlands 4 could be a damn good game.
Oh, it has potential. It has a lot of potential right now. I see a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of good. It does excite me a little bit. But again, there's some stuff in it that I'm why are they choosing to do it now? Why are they choosing to edit things like this now? Just doesn't bode well. But at the same time, like I said, like you said, gameplay looks very crisp. I like some of the new mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I mean, you watched it with me. You already told me that you had some sort of negative stuff, some positive stuff. What's your takeaways here?
Much like you, didn't move the needle. Like, I'm not losing my mind over Borderlands 4. I'm not down on Borderlands 4. With me, I just want to preface this by saying it's very easy to satisfy me as far as games go. I'm a very big apologist when it comes to things like this. But having just played Borderlands 1, 2, a little bit of 3 in the recent memory here, it looks like more Borderlands, but it looks like it's got a little something else. Like a little je ne sais quoi, as the kids say. Now, whether that's good or bad, translation, I don't know. But I do want to talk now about these new Vault Hunters, which, in true stringing you along fashion, we only got a damn good look at 2 of them. Vex being the Siren, and Rafa, who's a former TDRA soldier. Shout out to our Vault Hunter breakdowns, which you have crafted from the ground up.
Which I was close, I guess. I mean, I said Hyperion for Rafa. I said ex-Hyperion because of the rig thing, and it looked like an engineer, and I was like, come on, that looks close, but no, they went TDR.
I'm counting it for you. I'm giving you the points there. But what are your thoughts, especially you're a big fan of the Sirens in this game? Let's break down Vex real quick with a Ghost Tiger. I thought that was pretty damn cool. And let's get into Rafa here.
See, Vex, I was feeling like I was so close at first about Vex because I said, oh, the only power yet that they've talked about that we haven't seen is animal control. And then they showed the tiger, and I was like, yes, come on, got animal control. But no, it's that she has supernatural powers. She's more or less like kind of like a, I don't know, she has like this vampire-esque aesthetic to her that I like, which is like I like the demon wings that she has occasionally. I also like the whole like summoning herself as like an echo with a scythe thing. Like that's cool. This whole summoning tiger like thing looks awesome. Actually, that's probably the way I would go if I was going to like do a build for her. But she overall looks very sound. Again, it's going to be a thing that I say I like it, but Gearbox at the same time, I feel like they're just handing us a normal everyday siren like they do in every game. Nothing really special. I wish it would have been, oh, she's artificial, like people were saying, or like, you know, they connected it back to the one lady from the pre-sequel that disappeared in the purple light because she has purple tattoos. Would have loved to have seen that. But instead, they didn't do anything with that. Rafa, on the other hand, I will say he reminds me a lot of Zane.
Yeah.
Like, with the whole, like, tech feel. And I'm excited to see his other action skills, because the blade thing just doesn't do it for me. Like, and the only reason I say that is because it seems very quick. It seems more, very much like a one-off. It's like Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 or whatever, where he spins around with the lasers and he's like, boop, it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Like, reminds me of that. It feels like an action skill I'm going to use. It's going to go, like, 10 seconds, and then I'm going to be like, okay, well, now I got to wait.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to see it as, like, a continuous thing, where the more enemies I kill, the longer it happens, and I keep going, like, spinning around like a top. That would be amazing.
Look at that.
Okay, but I ramble. Kevin, what do you got?
No, these two characters, Vex has my interest, mainly because I do like that Ghost Tiger. The one I've been looking forward to the most to hopefully get more information on, but didn't on this day, was that big Viking jacked cyborg guy. Hey, you know what? I'll wait a little longer. I feel like now that we've kind of uncorked this whole thing of who these Vault Hunters are, it's only a matter of weeks, if not, maybe by the time this video goes up, they'll be like, hey, here's the other two, and enjoy.
I will point out for you, Kev, I do think I know his action skills.
Okay.
I think I know all of them.
Oh, that'd be
I
great.
think his 3, because we have confirmation here, which, again, another thing I like, another positive point, is that we have multiple action skills again. Loved that in 3. I thought that was a really good bonus. But I think his action skills are going to be, 1, has those axes that he throws. 2, he's going to have, like, nanobots that he, like, puts around his arm, like those sphere things that he puts around his arm that he blasts forward and punches with. That's going to be 2nd. And then 3rd action skill is going to be a massive hammer that he pulls out and just slams.
I'm here for it.
That's what I'm feeling.
I'm here for it. And, you know, again, I want to stress the point in a game like Borderlands, especially where it's very much character driven, narrative driven. You need to nail these personalities. You really do. Because I, as much as I do like characters like Zero, I do like all these other guys like Zane you mentioned, none of them really resonate with me. Like, I could not feel less attached to the newer characters within Borderlands. And it's still those older crew that I'm going back to, and I'm like, yeah, this was a pretty damn good time. Now, the secondary thing I think is important is the setting, and you alluded to this a little bit. We're on Kairos, and apparently this is gonna feature more of a massive open zone thing versus what we were kind of speculating on, that it's gonna be a giant open world, which to me, Borderlands is massive open zones. I dig that a lot better. I feel like if you stray too far as like it's gonna be the giant planet, you can go anywhere. You start to get the bloat, you start to get the open world, like, hey, we gotta put points of interest every 5 meters or whatever that golden rule is. But for this, what I've seen, I enjoy, and the worlds, like we were talking, this game visually looks pretty damn good. So now I'm gonna defer to you here about Kairos.
No, yeah, the world itself looks great so far. Everything I've seen about it looks very nice. It looks very traversable. Like, one thing I want to point out is definitely like the new gameplay mechanics, like with like traversal. I do like that they added the glide. I like that they added the double jump. I do also like that they have that grappling hook. Really helps with traversing the world. And honestly, it feels like a natural like change in Borderlands that was coming. You know, feels like just a natural evolution that we saw coming, and that it's about time it got here. I mean, like you said, Borderlands has always been like big open zones that you travel, and they steadily throughout the games have gotten bigger and bigger. Now there's supposed to be like these massive open zones, and there's 4 of them, they said.
Yep.
And now here's where I'm just like, I hope they didn't go too big and make it too normal open world like, because if they like, let's say they made it like Halo Infinite.
Yep.
I'm gonna be like, okay, that's kind of annoying because now we just have a bunch of like location things to farm out and yada yada yada. And it's gonna be the same old with open world games. And I liked Borderlands because it felt more unique, despite it being having like an open area to explore. It felt more unique about it. So we'll see how that comes out.
Now, we did bring up the Ubisoft of all of this. The silos within the world bring me back to Assassin's Creed, synchronizing viewpoints. I don't know what to gather from that entirely, especially how it plays out within Borderlands, where it's like, I believe while they were showing that, they were like, hey, you can pick up missions as you go. It's kind of like, you don't need to go to a certain spot. Which, hey, if this is where I get my missions for this zone, it kind of streamlines everything, but at the same time, like, do we need to climb tall objects in games to get our missions done? I don't know. But what do you
I'm
think of those
afraid that
silos?
takes away from like, sorry I cut you off,
No,
but
no, no.
I feel like that takes away from the like the personality of it in a sense. And the reason I say that is because I liked going up to a character, talking to them, then being able to just turn around and like hear them talking to me as I ran. That was something that they did in 2, that was something they did in the pre-sequel. And I feel like, you know, if you're getting all of your missions from like a synchronization point, or if you're getting them just from like a terminal, it's gonna like make it less personal, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, that was the
But
big problem in Halo Infinite. It felt empty. Like, I get the story context of, like, hey, you have to go to this point. It's audio log based. It's whatever. Fallout 76 at the start, that was the key thing that kind of drove that game downhill, was you weren't talking to people. You weren't out there in the world interacting. So, yeah, I want to hold judgment on that until I actually play the game or we find out even more to kind of say, like, oh, this was bad. This was a bad choice.
no, yeah, I get, yeah. And I heard you mentioning the silo thing. That's where I'm like, it feels like Ubisoft.
Yep.
Like, it feels like Ubisoft with that. It feels like a synchronization point because like you go up to it, you activate a terminal, and then it just shows you an area where a vault fragment is. And I have it pulled up on the trailer right now. It says hint area. There is a vault fragment hidden somewhere in this area. That I feel like again is like a like I mentioned this to you before we started. I feel like Gearbox is making things too easy on people. Part of Borderlands 2 that I liked was finding hidden things.
Yep.
They did that in 3 as well, where there was hidden things to find. Borderlands 4, now it feels like they're handing you everything. It kind of feels like that because it's like, oh, like I feel like if this was Borderlands 2, you'd be finding this like hidden vault fragment on your own somewhere, and you wouldn't have a silo pointing you in that direction.
Hmm.
But now we're in Borderlands 4, and now we need someone to hold our hand and show us where this vault fragment is. Why do we need that now? Part of the fun is exploring the world. This takes away from exploring the world, in my opinion. You
No,
know?
I agree fully there. And we talk about fun and what makes Borderlands Borderlands outside of the crazy characters in the narrative. Weapons. We're getting a bunch of the classic weapons manufacturers back. This time around, you can get licensed parts, which kind of you can swap out this scope or barrel. And then again with loot, you can kind of change up how often you get these certain loot drops, and you can unlock enhancements for certain weapons to make them more powerful. This was a thing heading into Borderlands 4 where I kind of hoped for, where I was like, hey, yeah, it's cool to have like 50 billion guns, but like, what if I like the body of this one but I want a different scope? Or if I want a different attachment, I want to remove the knife. These are the things I was asking for. What are your thoughts on just the overall added weapons manufacturers, this licensed parts gig, and then the enhancements you can unlock for said weapons?
So with the enhancements, I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication on that. Where the enhancements, what those are they are just general buffs to a weapon manufacturer that you have. They take the place of artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like a, oh, you can just change the part on the weapon. I don't think they actually showed, oh yeah, you can change the parts on your own accord on the weapons, which I mean, honestly, if they did that, I'd kind of not like it because it takes away from the whole looting aspect of it
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. But I do, after pondering it, when I first saw it and I saw the manufacturer thing and the license part stuff, I was like, I'm not sure if I like this or not. I pondered on it for a while, but ultimately, I do like it. I think it's actually like kind of again another natural progression for the loot system in a sense, where like it feels like it should have been that all along. Like, oh, you can have this part be on this weapon and everything, and yada yada yada. And I think that that works. But also at the same time, I just, from a story standpoint, I'm like, why is it like this? Because all of the weapon manufacturers are feuding with each other. They are
Yeah.
at war. They literally were at war in 3. Why suddenly can you have these two weapons all of a sudden share parts? I mean,
Hey.
that I feel like that is just a tidbit of information that they should share in like an echo log or something so that we know.
Yeah, it's more of like a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing, but at the same time too, you're adding to more reasons why you should go back and play these games again and try different builds, try different characters. I think it's all good and well. The one thing you brought up during our live watch along was the replaying of boss fights, which is something that, thank the Lord above, we're getting here in Borderlands 4. What are your thoughts on the replayable boss fights and missions? And again, it looks like grinding loot is just a little bit easier.
But well, okay, so I am genuinely happy that Gearbox actually listened to the community. Thank you, Gearbox, for doing so. They actually listened to the community on two things. Where one, we have boss replays, and then we also have legendary weapons that actually feel like legendaries again. Because that was a big complaint that I had, and that a lot of people had in Borderlands 3, where legendary weapons were given out like candy. If you played on Mayhem 10, you killed Grave Warden one time, you were getting like 10 legendaries at one time, and it was like, yay, I got all these legendaries. Let's just keep farming the same legendaries. Let's go.
Yep.
Or if you had a specific legendary that you needed, like I don't even remember the legendaries I was using because it's been so long since I played 3, but I remember doing the Hyperion raid
Hmm.
and running through, just defeating the final boss in the Hyperion raid all by myself, like, because I had an overpowered build. I was like, yep, let me just keep farming this. And every time I'd get the weapon, and I was like, this takes away the fun of it because more or less I'm getting that weapon, but now I'm just hunting down a specific variant of that weapon to make it the best that it can be. And so I'm really happy that they did the whole boss replay thing. That you can go through with a friend, you can farm with a friend, you can each try to get the weapon together, and that legendaries will feel very good when you finally get one.
Yeah, no, again, this is a looter shooter, and your whole premise here is to do the farming, to chase these certain legendary weapons, and now that they're actually listening, hey, I'm here for it. But is there anything throughout this trailer that you wanted to speak on a little bit more? Anything here in closing?
Uh, really? I mean, my only thing is that my biggest thing that I am just concerned about is the open world aspect itself, the actual mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just very concerned that they made things too easy. I don't like that they did the whole Echo Robot thing where you're like Echo 4 or whatever, where he's like, oh yeah, let me show you the exact path to where you're going. All of that screams like Ubisoft, or it screams like Halo Infinite and stuff, like where that became. And I'm not a fan of open world stuff like that. And I would really like the opportunity to be able to turn that stuff off if I want to.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
you know, like, I feel like that hand holds a little bit too much, and I don't think Borderlands has ever been a handholdy game. I think it's been
No.
a very much a game where you play, you find stuff on your own accord, and that you grind through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like that experience again, you know. But overall, the game, it looks solid. I do have a little bit of hope for it. I'm not like jumping over the moon
Yeah.
or anything, but I am excited to see more. I am at
Also,
least excited to see more about the tech lady because her action skills that they showed off look kind of cool. Because I like the whole bubble one.
yeah, and real quick, I glossed over this. Crossplay at launch, two players split screen co op, and you'll be able to set your own difficulty, and all loot will be instanced, so you can't steal guns between friends. Just want to throw that out there, because I know there's a lot of people that play this 4 player, and that's a big deal, you know, stealing your friends' guns. And crossplay is, like, as much as we're saying what should be in modern games, I feel like that should be the
Oh
bare
yeah.
minimum of everything here. But final thoughts for me here. This is just Borderlands with a fresh coat of paint, and quite honestly, that's all I want from it. I'm not expecting, nor do I want them to say like, oh, Borderlands is now going to be this open world RPG, Souls-like, blah blah blah. I don't need none of that. Like, Borderlands' formula as is perfect. I dig it. I keep going back to play these games because of it. I want to know more about characters. Granted, that sounds very entitled and spoiled of me, but at the same time, 20 minutes and it's May, June, July, August, September. We got a decent amount of ways to the actual launch, but at the same time, it's been a whole lot of nothing. So it's like, I kind of want to know about the other characters, and yeah, and Lilith is kind of here, sort of, not really.
Oh,
I don't know.
I hope that they find her and she's just dead. I hope because I'm tired of her being the main focus. I'm sorry. I liked her as a character, but I feel like they've done way too much with her.
Yeah, it'd be
But
4 games
and
now.
and Ava, you either make her good or you get her out of here because I really don't want to see her again.
Well, speaking of going on and getting, that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. We hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, if you want to know more about the latest gaming news, rumors, and reviews, keep it locked here to Game Sandwich. Join our Discord because we're talking about our favorite games and even Borderlands all the time, 24/7. But again, that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. I've been K-LO, joined by Aden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.